Sing the word, chant the word, speak the word, dance the word, say the word, praise the word, feel the word, love the word, live the word, vibrate the word, shake the word, hum the word, breathe the word, whisper the word, sign the word, love the word, sing it now, sing the word, chant the word, speak the word, dance the word, say the word, praise the word, feel the word, love the word, live the word, vibrate the word, shake the word, hum the word, breathe the word, whisper the word, sign the word, love the word, sing it now, sing the word, chant the word, speak the word, dance the word, say the word, praise the word, feel the word, love the word, live the word, vibrate the word, shake the word, hum the word, breathe the word, whisper the word, sign the word, love the word, sing it now. Sing the word, chant the word, speak the word, dance the word, say the word, praise the word, feel the word, love the word, live the word, vibrate the word, change the word, hug the word, breathe the word, whisper the word, sign the word, love
All right. Well, congratulations, obviously, to Tina. I'm going to play another song while I'm doing the Astrodoodle, so please be patient. And let's this is it's actually a birthday song, and Love Triber's got a birthday coming up soon, so I think it's okay to play this one. It's called The Wonder Ride. Hi, Bubba. Bubba is trying to be a camera hog. Stealing my light, Bubba. That's what they call it in Hollywood when you take over the camera like that.
It's called Wonder Ride.
Let's have a look here. Is it happening or what? Oh, there we go.
My dear, this is my birthday present to you, to celebrate the day that heaven made you. It's remarkable that we both found one another. The day we set out on our transformation ride with each other at each other's side, it soon became evident that we are both changing, and it's such a wonder ride, my dear. Yes, it's such a wonder ride. Hold on tight, tightly, my dear. Journey, it starts to unfold in a multi-dimensional world of untold delights that truly defy the imagination. You've naturally taken it upon yourself to document all of the nuances that go to make up a story of extraordinary proportions. Such a wonder ride, my dear. Yes, it's such a wonder ride. Hold on tight, tightly, my dear. It's such a wonder ride, my dear. Yes, it's such a wonder ride. Hold on tight, tightly, my dear.
All right, so let's leave that for now. I'll put this over here. Give me a second, I'll catch up with you. Oh, thank you. Oh, okie dokie. Now, so, of course, good evening and welcome. Let me just check in with you. Hello. Why the softness and colors tonight? I don't know. Maybe my ink is running out. Yeah, I agree with you. I can see it. I think I have an idea what it is. Give me a second here. Okay, I just want to... Oh, there's a lot of chat here already. Give me a second. I want to just catch up and then I'll check in with you. So Tina is already heading to New Mexico. Wow, okay. Snowing all the way, of course, right now, yeah. You found a cabin in Hemis to rent short term till the house sells. Okay, that's the one in Montana. Got it. Okay, got it. Well, that's great news, Tina. That means you can get back to work and do all that fun stuff, bringing in the money. The new cabin's on Porcupine Trail, 9,000 elevation. How are the showings? Tina, heavy snow there till Thursday. Wow, are you sure it's safe to drive? Hey, Elizabeth, thank you for showing up. I'm sorry, I'm not, I didn't do the links properly or whatever. Let's have a look. Where am I? Give me a second here. Yeah, the interest. It's criminal what's happening with real estate right now. Like the realtors are having a hard time. The sellers are having a hard time. The borrowers and buyers are having a hard time. Yeah. The kitty. Yeah, little Bubba's here. Yeah, okay. Tina had to drop the price way down. Okay, yeah. Tina, I've heard the market is tanking. It's really tanking, okay? But you start the job. Okay, well, I guess it's a mixed blessing then. Hello, Maria. Oh, my gosh. You know what? I don't think I got you in the email thing. And why the... Well... Pat, I think my package of colored pens are starting to shrivel up, dry out, run out of ink. That probably would explain it, Oh, I'm sorry, Tina. You've lost... Oh, that's... Oh, that's very frustrating. Very, very frustrating. I was reading about some real estate strategies, trying to understand how do people cope or manage in these situations. And one consultant said it's better to do a savage, dramatic cut in price immediately, sell and just get out and hope to live another day, because everyone else is trying to reduce prices incrementally, a little bit here, 500 here, 1,000 there, 1,000 there, and everyone else is trying to do the same because they all want to get paid as much as possible for their home, but it's just not happening. And so the way to stay ahead of the market is to slash the asking price so low that it attracts a lot of attention and a lot of potential buyers away from all the other sellers who are just as stressed as you. Anyway, it's just, I don't know. I'm not a homeowner, so I can't tell you. All right. So hello, Tina. Hello, Path. Hello, Ivona. Wait a minute. Did I say Ivona? Maria. I hope Ivona shows up. I did send the invitation. Anyway, let's go over here. I'll come back to the Astrodoodle in a little bit, okay? Meanwhile, greetings, good evening. Sunday, 15th January 2023. It's good to be here. I promise I'm going to behave as much as I can so I don't trigger algorithms and alienate you and my channel and other people, okay? It's tricky because I've discovered that I have a bit of a mouth on me and I seem to have a bit of a rebellious tone. I mean, I can see it in my own chart, so it's kind of understandable. But, when I started this channel years ago, I was all love and healing and love, and let's do our private, healing sessions and all those Zoom things, and I was doing 45 videos a week or something insane. Anyway. So, we're here. Live to fight another day, as they say. Anyway, for me, I guess the real thrill is to hang out with all of you again, and because it's really important for me. I love our little community, who we are, what we do, and how we do it. We've made friends all over the world. I sent an email to Karen down there in New Zealand, Sarah Al-Sheikhi, I believe over in Benghazi, Libya. Did Sarah say she's going to show up? Also over there to Lily Lynn over there in Austria. Now, of course, in Austria, and Germany and Western Europe, they're having a really, really hard time now with inflation and fuel. So it's extremely hard to stay warm. People are really struggling, okay? And I don't think Lily Lynn will be here tonight because it's already like, even if I went on for 4 hours here, it still would be like 5 o'clock in the morning for her to sign in. Yeah. So tonight we're just going to keep it. Oh, that's a good idea. Everyone here tonight, name 3 things that you are grateful for. Well, I can start it off very easily. Hot and cold running water with indoor plumbing. Got electricity. And my good buddy is an outstanding prepper. I'm a prepper too in my own way. So it's prepper hanging out with prepper, but we're covering different bases. And so that's good. Love Triber likes health, home, homeopathic medicine. Okay, we're up to a really, really good start here. I was advised with a strong pat on the shoulder, keep this show all about the love and the healing. Maybe give somebody a reading, okay? Oh, Tina still wants to meet up in Vegas. Oh, actually you could, I don't know, you're probably very hectic right now with the new job and the temporary accommodations, but I guarantee it's going to happen. I'm pretty sure it's going to happen. Tina's going to end up over here in Las Vegas for Blackjack Baby. Huh? Oh, super duper. So the holidays are basically over, and we've gone through several very critical lunar cycles, most especially the Scorpio new moon eclipse and the Taurus full moon eclipse right at the end of 2022. And that's having a very long ripple effect. And when I was talking about it back then, without getting into too much trouble, I emphasized global finance, extreme shock and disruption in global finance. And of course, here we are today. Rampant, terrifying inflation worldwide. The U.S. Feds, they're saying, and the U.S. Treasury is saying, it's like 7-8%, which is actually not that good. But the reality is, all of you know that it's much, much worse than that. Okay, so let's not talk about it. The obvious ones are eggs, price of eggs, price of gasoline. Anyway, enough. Yeah. Then we came through the holiday season, which was a very strong, heavy emphasis on Capricorn and Cancer, which of course emphasized the United States axis. And I managed to get through that period with hardly any YouTube presence at all, knowing that I would get myself into deep trouble if I started talking about it. And my blackout period finished on December 30th. So I've only been back here for about 2 weeks, and I've only done a couple of shows, really. And in that time, we've got some more shifts coming along, and I think this would be a good moment to segue over to the stage. I've got a little something to point out for you. So, I love to do my astrodoodles. I do this every day for myself. I really should share it every day. So this is it in close-up, full Technicolor. And a lot of you have seen these many times before. Over here, the blue blobs and the wiggly squiggles, those are the planets and their basic locations. I'm not doing any fixed stars. I've just got one little Chiron thing here. All the other stuff is too complicated. It adds to the confusion. It's hard enough to do this just as it is. Yes, Tina, I did. So let me do that right now before we forget. I'm going to get you your magic post-it note. And it's perfectly okay if we just do one reading tonight. By the way, you know, in the old days, if there's anybody brand new here and you're very shy, you've never done this before, but you're thinking, this is a little weird, and you want to actually give it a shot, type it in on the screen, let us know who you are, let us know where you are, and we'll see what happens. We used to do a lot of hazing for the newbies. But of course, I've been absent for a long time, so I'm kind of out of the groove, and it'll take a while to get back. So there we are. Tina, you're set. Don't you worry. We'll get to you later on. Now, I'm going to briefly mention this without getting into trouble. Right now, today, of course, we have the moon in Scorpio, right over here, and the other obvious ones, we have Mercury retrograde still in Capricorn, which is big, big trouble for the big corporations, the elites, and all the governing bodies of the world. You might have noticed that there's been a tremendous amount of upheaval and communications coming unraveled between, let's say, the controlling elites and the public, the masses, we the people, okay? Now, again, because this is the moon, it's a very fleeting transit, but it's a very strong transit because it's right on the nodal axis. Moon is in Scorpio, right on the south node, opposing Uranus in Taurus, right around the north node over here. So again, this axis, in my interpretations, relates to global finance. Everything that's really good about it and everything that's really bad about it. And you've probably noticed everything that's really bad about it recently. And a lot of that comes from multi-generational grooming by the powers that be, especially the Fed and the U.S. Treasury, and the government in general, all working in collusion to expand their personal agendas at the expense of we the people. Now, of course, with the North Node in Taurus, it's all about how do we reclaim our sovereign selves and our sovereign wealth and our true value and our true values for us, each individual, we the people. How do we decouple from this world of other people's money and outsourcing our financial expectations into these very self-serving institutions, okay? So it's a very powerful message, and the whole world is living through this right now because the phenomenon called inflation, it's affecting the whole of planet Earth. It isn't just a little bubble here in America or Western Europe or the richer nations. It's everywhere. And there's at least 2 billion people on Earth. 2 billion people, okay, who are suffering food crisis. Obviously, a lot of that is here and here and here. Other places here. Anyway, it's all over the world. Mostly it depends on the nature of your economy, your country, wherever you are. Great T-square for travel plans. Well, Tina, you did notice that. Of course, with the North Node in Taurus, really close to Uranus in Taurus, it's a guaranteed recipe for outrageous, highly unpredictable, highly unstable, disruptive events in the global climate, and that includes everything that we've been witnessing on the mass media news, like the hurricanes, the floods, the landslides, the atmospheric rivers over California. I mean, it's all over the world right now. Everyone in America has heard about the atmospheric rivers over here, okay? They've had massive flooding over here in New Zealand, some parts of Australia. Last year, they had massive flooding over here in China. Where are the other? I mean, insane, crazy snow up here. That big bomb cyclone over here. Okay, the whole of the East Coast smashed by that. Again, kind of outrageous, unpredictable. And then, of course, in contrast, the extreme droughts. So anyway, and the volcanoes, the earthquakes, the fires. Okay, now the other thing is, this is really important. There's a T-square here, okay? So this financial aspect here, I'm talking about the whole world. I'm going to get to you guys in a moment, but I'm talking about the whole world right now. It's in a very hard square with Venus, which is one of the money planets, and Saturn, which is the planet of karma, the great teacher, the great tester, the great, let's say, limiter, the great reality check. So about what's working for humanity. So it's very, very obvious that there are some enormous problems with the global financial system and everybody on Earth, except for a handful of a couple thousand elites at the extreme top pinnacle of the pyramid of power and control and money. We are all feeling this thing. This is very, very personal to me because I happen to take these subjects very, very personally. Now, for the individuals, of course, these are the hot spots right now. The Scorpio, Taurus, Aquarius things. But there's more. Now, let's say you are an Aries sun, moon, and rising. These are the transits for today, right now, and this is how it would affect you on your personal chart. If you're a Capricorn, the transits would sit on you like this. If you're a Libra, it would sit on you like this, and so on. If you're a Cancer and all the other signs, it would sit in incremental versions of it, okay, like this. So you have to figure out where are you dominant? Sun, moon, and rising. Typically, those are the most dominant energy fields on a person's chart. Not always, but that's in common Western astrology, that's how it is. So if anybody wants to find out a lot more about this stuff in deep detail on an ongoing basis or whenever, you can come to me personally at tarotlumination.com. I know you've heard all of this before, but there might be some newbies here. Let's have a look. Over here, there's the website, some of it. This is the donate page, but you can also go to the book your readings page and so on and so on, and you can book a reading directly, and it will be conducted on the Tarot Illumination private Zoom for your pleasure. Okay, now back here for a moment. All right. Okay, so this is active right now. And the green stuff is nice and sweet. It's harmonious. It's smoothing things out. I don't really want to dwell on that right now. The thing that I'm very concerned about is this. Okay, right here. The Sun is in Capricorn about 24 degrees. Pluto is in Capricorn about 27 degrees. So over the next few days, in fact, let me get the... what you call it? Where is my... Well, where? Oh, here we are. Okay, here's the ephemeris for January. So the exact moment of conjunction with the Sun and Pluto, that's a very powerful alignment, and we're already feeling it. Let's see, 28. So I'm looking for Sun in Capricorn, about 28 degrees. So that is going to be on the 19th, okay? 16, 17, like 4 days from now. In 4 days from now, which will be Thursday, okay? Thursday the 19th, the Sun is going to conjoin Pluto right here on the 28 degree mark. Now this is absolutely critical for the United States and the United States astrology at the foundation of its soul. So it's like, the way I interpret this, I'm going to keep it really simple. Just imagine the United States is extremely broken right now There's massive amounts of corruption and fraud, betrayal, sickness that is being exposed. And the mainstream media is having an incredibly hard time trying to suppress it all, like it's not happening. But it's happening, and it's leaking out all over the world. I'm not going to name names. But anyway, it's happening. And it's highly relevant to the United States because the United States is born with Pluto in Capricorn retrograde at 27.5 degrees, which is right there. Okay? So the sun is just imagine, like Sam Bankster fraud. You've been arrested, you've been found out, you've been discovered, and you are now in a, let's say, you're not actually in prison yet, but you've been discovered, and these massive flashlights from SWAT teams and the police and the financial, controllers of the world have found you out, and are shining these spotlights on you while you're trying to hide in the dark and pretend that your criminal activities have not been discovered yet. So the same thing is happening to America. It's like a massive floodlight is lighting up simultaneously the degree of 28 degrees of Capricorn, which is going to show the world anything and everything that is wrong with the United States at the very, very, very depth of its soul, which essentially comes down to the storylines that are starting to appear in mainstream media, but it's the same storylines that we've been talking around for years here on Terra Illumination. It's all the corruption, theft, betrayal, lies, deceit, just pure... I gotta be careful with my language. Hey, Starzy, I see you. So it's lighting up. It's a very powerful alignment. Now, also, it's called combust because it's the light of the sun is so powerful that it even blots out and masks the Pluto energy. But when they're working out together, let me give you another example. It's far easier for me to explain it like this. When we actually use a person. For example, Sun conjoined Pluto. Going back many, many years, there was a very, very, very famous pop star, rock star, who was born with the Sun conjoined Pluto in Leo. That's an extremely powerful alignment for basically being famous, successful, bold, outrageous leadership, courageous, fearless, classic Leo stuff. Guess who that person was and still is? It's Mick Jagger. Okay. Now, I'm old enough to know about Mick Jagger. Some people barely have heard of him, these days. Like, huh? Rolling Stones? What's that? But back in the day, they basically shifted the whole world. Same thing with the Beatles, okay? Necessary Truth, good evening. So, this is a profound and powerful alignment here that's happening for the whole world right now, but especially for the United States. Because what happens here in the United States when it comes to power, control, and money, which is mostly conducted over here, and here, and here, and here, it affects the rest of the world. Literally everywhere, everything on the surface of this earth is affected by the decisions and behaviors of the United States Federal Reserve Bank, the United States Treasury, and the United States federal government working in collusion with each other to push their agenda forward, which typically doesn't really work very well for you. It works for them. So anyway, I don't want to point fingers too much, but this is very powerful. You've been feeling a lot of this building up already, but it's going to reach a crescendo in about 4 days, and then we're going to have the after effects, the afterglow for many, many days, weeks, months afterwards. Okay, the sun is going to move out of Capricorn over here, over here, over here, over here, and so on. But the 19th is a big deal astrologically. That's, of course, if you're interested in these things, which I am, and I'm glad you're here because you probably are too. Anyway, so I wanted to share that. To me, it's a very important transit. I'm going to observe very carefully. I'll share what I can, share what I discover. My feeling is just going to be more of the same, and it's probably going to include the fellow who is supposedly the president of the United States right now. He's probably the most obvious example of anything and everything that's going wrong. And even the people who voted for him are starting to scratch their heads, thinking like, well, what was I thinking? What was I doing? Oh, dear. Anyway, yeah, so I'm going to, okay, no more of that. Let's get back to you, everybody. All the lovey-dovey hugs and love and healing. Remember when we used to have private meetings on Zoom and I would do my super weird, extreme self-healing regimens with you? I get all sentimental about that. Yeah, remember we did 5-hour marathon shows and I would do 6 or 8 or 9 readings, and I would have to drink my little beverages to get through the show, but I love doing it so much. I can't do that to my body anymore, so I don't. But anyway, not today. There's other things we could discuss in the astrology, but again, it's probably going to get me into trouble. If I get into trouble, I can't do anything here, so let's just zip it. Okay? So give me a second over here. What I'm going to do is pull out a deck and start to shuffle things up, see if we've got, let's see, basically what we need to do to get on with the show properly. Yes, I think we do. All right, so let's see. Oh, Tina, just bear with me a second. We're going to get to your reading in just a moment, okay? This is, okay, something I'd like to share. It's very, very early days, but, I've been moaning and groaning here for a long time about the algorithms. So I decided, you know what? I can't do anything about it. I can't fight it. And there are other channels suffering like myself, and they're finding ways to wiggle around things and trying new strategies and sticking to who they are and what they do, maintaining their integrity. So I've been learning things by watching very carefully some of the channels that I really love, because I learn so much from YouTube and social media. And so I've started experimenting with TikTok and Twitter and Rumble. And I like all of them in their own way. I especially like TikTok, even though I've also complained and aired my, let's say, opinions on what's really going on with TikTok. And I think everybody around the world knows, but nobody cares because a lot of people are 170 million people in the United States are active on TikTok. So they must be doing something right. Some people call it digital social media fentanyl, because it's a very interesting algorithm how it works. Twitter is quite different. Rumble is very different. Rumble, the censors that be are starting to go after Rumble, so I'm going to keep going with Rumble while I can, because I really like Rumble. It's like a sort of simplified, beautiful YouTube alternative that is much more friendly to people like myself. So I am starting to put material there, basically all the material that I can't put here. And I've decided, just for your future information, right now I feel that all I can handle is the Sunday night shows, and we make the best of that. And I'm going to build up behind the scenes until I'm more comfortable and we can see where we go from there. One of the things I'd like to do, because it's been spinning in my head for quite a while, and we've done it before a few times, is I would like to schedule and host and promote a live, real-time Zoom hangout meetup, where we can literally hang out, talk, meet each other face-to-face in an organized manner. We've done it before, Sometimes it gets pretty raucous, but it's very fun, very satisfying, and we can do things there that we can't do anywhere else. So that's somewhere down the road. Not quite sure when. Anyway, so that's kind of where we are right now. It's hard. I have to admit, it's hard for me. I really just like doing everything through YouTube, but I can't, so I'm just basically fragmenting and having to do a lot of homework on social media, how it all works, and all these different platforms. Okay? Thank you very much. Yep, the Zoom room. It's fun, people. It's a lot of fun. All right, here we go. Yes, I will schedule it. Now, Tina. Let's go over here. Now, Tina has been through a lot. Tina, I would, from my perspective, Tina is a serious risk taker. She's very bold. She is not scared to put herself in the front or ahead of a problem. She actually sees the problems, whatever it is in life, in her life, in the world around her, the full spectrum of life in the world around you, and then she makes decisions, and then she goes for it. Bam! Okay? Now, a lot of people really do not live that way. A lot of people hedge. They pull back. They hold back their personal energy. They wait for somebody or something else to draw them or lead them in a direction on the assumption and belief that whatever that external energy, force, influence might be, is better, stronger, more powerful, more trustworthy, more reliable than you and your own self. So I haven't really mentioned this about Tina before, but to me, because we've worked together before, Tina and myself, it is a very specific characteristic that not everybody has. Okay? Tina is saying here on the screen, that would be my Sag rising, my Sagittarius rising. And then and Love Tribe was saying that Sag rising definitely being active for you. Yes, Sagittarius is definitely a fun-loving risk taker. Just get up and go for it. Have fun, have the adventure. Otherwise, you feel depressed and missed out on life and everything. Okay, I see that necessary. I'll put your little post-it up here. This is your magic note for the evening. I'm not going to do any more. Okay, if anybody wants another mini reading, we'll just schedule it, okay? And we'll just book it. But not tonight. Because I have to stay within my parameters of what I know I can handle and make sure I stay out of trouble. Okay, here we go. All right. All right, that should be good. All right, again, for any newbies who are here, you're welcome. Okay. What was I going to say, TL? Oh, yeah, so Tina, what I was going to say is that with this particular characteristic, I mean, it's basically how much risk can a person handle in their life. The risk takers tend to be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, okay? They're fire signs. It's almost like act first, worry about the questions later. And that takes boldness and courage. Aries, of course, is the fighter, the warrior. They're the first one to walk into the bullets, into the line of fire, into the trouble, into the fun, into the danger, into life, into the world, and then see what happens. And on the other hand, there are certain signs that are more like reserved, and let's say more shy. For example, Virgo would probably be more let's say, self-contained and would observe and watch what's happening in the world and then make a calculated move that is already partially affirmed by other people's behavior. Okay? Leo, of course, doesn't give a... They're out there like, hey, look at me, I can do anything I want. And Sagittarius is like, hey, watch this, come on, let's go. Let's climb up to the very tippy edge of this amazing, beautiful cliff. Oh, wow, look at that vista. See how much we've learned. What an adventure. And they're not necessarily always aware that the cliff edge is crumbling right under their feet. But, yeah, it's exciting. I'm sure some of you have seen those commercials on YouTube where they have these Olympic extreme sports skiers who dive down the face of a mountain at like 80 degrees, going at 80, 90, 100 miles an hour. Anyway, so I believe Tina has that, the risk-taking element, and it's not everyone has it, not everyone wants it. In fact, it would be foolish for some people to take risks if they are not naturally born with the risk-taker ingredient. So, and that also kind of goes for the concept of leadership. For example, like Leo is, I'm not saying every Leo is a leader, but in a classic Leo scenario, for example, Mick Jagger, Sun conjoined Pluto, just an extreme situation there. He would have been born with the natural right and duty and obligation at that Pluto degree, early degrees Pluto, very early, so it's very strong, very powerful energy, to be in the spotlight, on the stage. No apologies, just a natural born belief that they are incredible, fierce, ferocious, outrageous, courageous leaders. They don't even have to say follow me or anything like that, because they just lead and then others follow. That's it. All right. So we could go on about this for a while. Let's get on with Tina's reading. Now, yeah, good thing you got some earth. Yes, Madonna for sure. She was born with Pluto in Virgo, which is very different from Pluto in Leo. Sip of water. Cheers, everybody. All right. Just a couple of personal things. Just want to clear it up. I haven't touched alcohol in, let's see, 3 or 4 months now, since all the radiation treatment is completed. And honestly, I get sentimental because, I do love my beverages. On the other hand, I have to say I do feel better. A little different and a little better, okay? And also, here's another thing that I learned from my primary doctor, and this was just a few weeks ago. She was wonderful. She went deep into all my numbers and charts and scans and all the data. And she said, you know what? You're kind of strange. You've got this low blood pressure and a very average, modest pulse. It's sort of like being a really super fit, healthy athlete. Doesn't really make any sense because you've had all these health conditions. You would expect high blood pressure, high pulse, stress. And so she said, you know what? Here's what I'm prescribing for you. As your primary care doctor, for you personally, I want you to eat a lot more salt in your diet and have a nice cup of real caffeinated coffee in the morning. And yet when you go on social media and YouTube, they're telling you, oh, salt is bad. Get rid of caffeine. It'll give you a heart attack, if you have too much. I know people who take 4 cups of coffee in the morning. I couldn't handle it. I would be in a hospital. Okay. So anyway, let's get on with it. Thank you, Tina. I'm going to put this all aside. Over here, we can come back to any of this later if we need to. So, just bear with me. I'm just getting prepared. I'm going to use the MA deck tonight. It's already well shuffled from many readings ago. Necessary truth. Salt and caffeine. Seriously? That's freakish. Okay? Karen, you made it! Yay! Hey Karen, I just heard about, oh my god. Okay, everybody, you all know Karen Clark. She's over here in New Zealand, so it's middle of the afternoon. Well, it's late. It's very early afternoon in New Zealand right now on Monday. And Karen lives right over there, right out by the water on the west side of the North Island. But New Zealand got heavily pummeled, just kind of the way like California got really pummeled, and they've had a lot of flooding and what do they call it, landslides over in New Zealand recently. Huge cyclones. So yeah, I just found that out, Karen. I hope you're okay. All right, so Tina says coffee all day. Okay. All right, it's a little bit hard for me to shuffle right now because I got an injury on my thumb and I got a band-aid on the top. And so I don't have that natural little bit of pull that I like or need, but we're going to get there. All right, so what kind of messages do we have here tonight for Tina regarding life in the world and everything? For folks who just arrived, Tina is over here in Montana, okay? The capital over there. And of course it's very, very cold and snowy. And tomorrow, Tina is starting a big drive from here. What's that, 1,500 miles or something? Into New Mexico. Fairly close to Albuquerque, Jemez. And she studied the report. She says it's going to be snow all the way. Well, the Rockies are right here and here. So I don't know I've never driven that route before, but all I can say is, Tina, if things get a little bit dodgy, pull over or find a place that has power, electricity, and something like that, okay? So anyway, yeah, for folks who just arrived, Tina is setting off tomorrow to begin her new life back in the old place, New Mexico. And eventually she's going to sell her place up in Montana. And things will get back to normal eventually. Gosh, I was just talking about New Zealand. And, New Zealand is about the size of California, and it's a big trek, to go from the top of the North Island all the way to the tippy bottom of the South Island. That's quite an epic journey. It is a very epic journey, and I'm sure there are some New Zealanders who've actually done it in their own country. But a lot of folks, like in a lot of countries, they don't really venture outside their home turf, It's just how people are. I read somewhere that most people are born, live, and die within about 100 miles of where they were originally born. Okay, Tina's going through Idaho, Utah, and then through the Navajo Nation. Okay, way up, or way over there. Okay, doke. So what kind of messages for Tina? Adventure, adventure, adventure. Oh God, it's really hard to shuffle. Wow. Oh man. One more, just be patient, Tina. Okay, what kind of messages do we have for Tina here tonight regarding life in the world and everything? Let's bless this whole deck, bless every single card from the manufacturers, the artists, Pamela Coleman Smith, the Rider-Waite concept guys, all the electricity, the cameras, the lights, all the different softwares running simultaneously, the cables, the electricity, all these amazing things that allow us to be here at all together to hang out. Bless it all. We're extremely, extremely fortunate in our own way. All right. Most of you know my little spread. This is the, again, if there's anybody new here, this is my situational spread. It's like a diagnostic tool, basically. Very, very, very super, super simplified, but it has a very broad spectrum of application. Here we go. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's the ways that we're going to handle it. Well, kill for a Navajo rug. Oh, wow. Yeah. Now, also, we're going to refer to external energies, influences. Mostly, I'm almost always deferring to the planets, but we'll see what happens. Sometimes it's a person, but we don't know. Okay. Okay, we've got the Star of Hope. Again, this is, hope is that, how do they describe it? Hope is that profound belief in something beautiful, good, wholesome, and loving when there isn't any hard evidence to support it. Ta-da! You know, so I would say that, Tina, this is on your side. To me, it makes me feel that you are, let's say, strongly guided and strongly protected, even though there might be all sorts of, let's say, anomalies and glitches that don't make any sense in your life right now. And frankly, the only way to operate and go forward in life is to commit to the energy of hope. It's an external energy field, which would be almost like surrendering yourself to the amazing beneficence of the planets. Now, you can do that, Tina, because you're already a high-frequency advanced being. And so that allows you to operate at these frequencies all the time. But it doesn't hurt to, invite it in. Like, it's almost like we should all have a little mini micro prayer here tonight to ask that Tina and her invisible friends, her own personal crew of invisible friends, guardian angels, specialty angels, security team, everyone behind the veil who is actually extremely close to you right now, that they stay extra close and they provide you with spontaneous intuition, knowledge, wisdom, awareness that you need for the journey tomorrow and into the future, into the new location. And of course, to bless the house in Montana. So there's hope for you. And we can do that here because we're on Tina's side. We can help her to do that. Hold on a minute. Give me a second. I've got to rearrange myself here. It'll just take me a moment. I'm just flapping around behind the scenes. There we go. So I'm just going to refer to that. So the way I look at it, Tina, is that, oh, I got to go over here, more technology, is that the Scorpio moon is still going to be active tomorrow and maybe a little bit further. And then it's going to go into Sagittarius. So things might get quite lively. And there might be feelings of being a little bit risk averse, because often I notice that wherever the moon is, there can be these very like deep subliminal kind of like fear type energies that percolate through the body. We're not even aware of it at a conscious level. So please be aware of it. If you get a little bit spooked on the journey, just write it off as, oh well, Tarot Lumination said it's just to be expected when the moon goes through Sagittarius and it's opposing Mars in Gemini. So just hang in and you'll be fine. So let's say that this big fat T-square here is actually working for you, in that you need to be acutely aware of the stresses and the challenges and the risks that you are facing over the next 36-48 hours. Okay? That would be the smart thing to do. Now let's have a look here. What's the situation itself? Okay. So I've got the Five of Pentacles here. Don't be scared. I know some people think of this as the pauper card, the poverty card. The way I'm seeing it in the reading here is that don't ever forget that you have resources. And we're going through cycles right now. Everybody goes through cycles. And think of this Five Pentacles as money in the bank. Okay? It's still there. It's right there. Very powerful, very valuable, sitting right there for you. That's yours. The challenge, of course, is that you're going through, I would say, a financially painful episode. And of course, that's directly correlated to the house in Montana, the staggering inflation that's pummeling everybody in the world, including the United States. So look at it this way with this little card. Tina, you are not alone, okay? Now, if the Five of Pentacles looked like this, I think it would be much more sad and much more painful. But you are not alone, okay? There are a lot of others walking a similar path with you. There are probably hundreds of thousands of Americans right now dealing with very parallel stories regarding real estate and jobs and money, okay? So you're okay, all right, Tina, you're okay. But we have to acknowledge the reality. Luckily, in a way, I'm glad to see this, because this is like a reality check. You're not being fooled by anyone or anything. You're not fooling yourself. Now, of course, what's the challenge here with all of that? If it's not challenging enough already, okay? Hello. Oh, wait. Give me a second, Echo. I'm in the middle of a reading, okay? So just hang in. Now, what are the challenges here? Queen of Cups. Okay. So, Tina, my feeling is that this is going on deep inside of you, because on the external side of you, of course, is the immediate consuming reality of the big adventure facing you right now. I mean, it's an epic move. It's an epic drive. You already did the epic move from the south to the north, and now you're going from the north to the south. And you're dealing with that, like, physical, material, the actual measurable parts of reality. But I feel here with the Queen of Cups going on inside of you is like, my God, what am I going to do now? I still have so much to offer. It's the question of context. How on earth can I continue to offer what I have earned, what I have amassed, which I still love to share? It's almost, remember, Tina, when we started working years ago, we had to identify you as a compassion junkie, and you just literally can't help yourself. And so that's what you do. And since then, you've, I think, contained it a little bit, so you keep some compassion for yourself, but you still have that kind of as a default setting. You have so much to offer, so much to give, and I don't think you would be that way unless you got some kind of deep joy, satisfaction from it, no matter the cost personally. And you're saying here, oh, I am my own worst enemy. Okay, well, we all are to some extent. And so, to me, this looks like a huge question mark. Oh my gosh, how is this actually going to play out? How am I effectively going to transform in my new life to the point where I could be in the full flow of my most awesome self, which is how we would all like to be, so that you can traverse this episode, get back into the love vibes, and share yourself at the scale of which you know that you are capable, and at the same time keep a load in reserve for yourself, okay? In other words, you don't want to be giving all of this away because, like you said, you can be your own worst enemy, and that can actually impoverish you without you even knowing it until it's too late. I'm sure everyone here has lived through an experience like that. So how are we going to deal with all of this going forward? Okay, Tina? Okay, so I'm looking at this, the Lover's card, in terms of like decision making going forward into the future. It's time to be extremely discriminating in terms of the company that you keep going forward from here, and to, I would say, deliberately I'm correlating this whole reading to your new life, your new journey going ahead. And you're gonna land on the ground at the journey, roughly stabilized at the new place, the temporary rental place, around the time that the sun, hold on, let me get this, okay. The sun conjoins Pluto. So that's a very important time stamp for you. So we've got about another day here, 2 days here, and a day or so, so like the next 4 or 5 days or so. So that's a long, long drive. I don't know how long you're going to take, but that's the long drive. And so when you get there, to me it feels like it's time to look at even though you're going back to familiar surroundings, you're going to go back to the Jemez, New Mexico region again, but you're coming back as a completely new person. You've done a lot of deep inner work on yourself. You've done a huge amount of soul searching and deep soul journeys to discover the next layers of who am I now, where am I going, what am I going to do, how am I going to do it, and who am I going to do it with. Now you've already got this cool new job lined up, so that's very, very important. But I also feel with the Lover's card here, it might be an idea to make a deliberate policy of, you're very, okay, Tina, you're very self-sustaining, all right? In a way, you don't really need anybody. But when I see the Lover's card here, it might be an idea to, when you start reintegrating with Jemez, the new job, the new people, the new environment, and eventually you get into the new home, and say bye-bye to the rental, say bye-bye to the house up in Montana, it's time to start looking at your relationships from a completely new perspective, where it's not all about like the default setting where you automatically give away so much love and healing to the other people without concern for yourself. And instead, take a little bit of caution and keep some of that in reserve for yourself, like your own piggy bank of love and healing for you, so that you can diminish this to the point where this really isn't a factor anymore. This just kind of disappears into nothingness. And you start to build a life where, like for example, I learned a lot in my absence recently. By the way, Tina, that's effectively your reading. I just want to share something myself, following on from here, if you don't mind. What it is that you get to a point in life, you start to realize, oh, let's say, what's most important to you? For some people, it's their job, their career, their drugs, their alcohol, their compulsive behaviors, their addictions. They love the movie. What's the most important thing to you? Or your kids or your pets or whatever. For some people, it's their relationships and their loved ones. And some relationships are, let's say, compulsory in our lives. Like there's your mom. There's the people who brought you into the world, for better or worse. And then there's your conditioning in infancy and youth and childhood and young adulthood. But after a while, you start to realize you have the power to select and choose the ones that you love and allow those to choose you. So I think when I see the Lover's card here, I'm learning more and more about that energy myself. Because I like to be extremely self-contained. And I've had a very nomadic life, but I'm starting to see through the lens of relationship now in ways that I've never known before. And you start to put that up as a very high priority now in ways that I've never done before. So I'm asking something similar for yourself, okay, Tina, where it's time to be like a lot more exclusive and a lot more selective in terms of the energy that you share with others and allow others to share their energy with you. Really tighten that up. So you're not like wasting time or energy in any way, okay? Learning the Gemini. Okay. So choose the relationships wisely and give yourself some breathing space to make decisions. In other words, it's almost like you're saying there, learn my Gemini North Node. Because, the Sagittarians can be very impulsive. They're just so courageous and they're so self-confident. They just kind of go, whoosh, they jump right into it. Okay? And that's on your South Node. But the Gemini would be more like a condensed, like a practical application. So, well, what does that look like in 3D life? Translating down into like the much more mundane day-to-day activities of day-to-day life, the transactions of day-to-day life, the communications between self and other and self. Because for a lot of people, day-to-day life is very much about the interactions between self and other and self. And that's very much a Gemini energy. So I hope the reading resonates with you, Tina. And of course, we wish you a safe, fun, exciting journey. And feel free to report in, contact at any time if you need anything. All right? Okay, dope. Giddy up, giddy up. Community. Okay, all right. Whew. Right, now I just want to, before I go, we're going to do a reading for necessary truth. That's probably all we're going to do here tonight. Hello, Pat. I want to say hello to Echo. Echo, can I ask a bold question? Did you by any chance show up here because of something I posted on my new TikTok? Anyway, I just wanted to ask, and you were asking here, like, hey, hi, like, wait a minute. Where? It looks like you've been very active. Wait a minute. Hello, Echo. Hello, Echo. Oh, there. Okay, I'm going way back on the chat through my chat screen here. It says, hello, you're a newbie. Yes, first time. Greetings. These are personal readings, but I also do like global readings with the astrology. And just for catching up reasons, let me just do a quick thing for Echo specifically. Echo, if you're watching right now, I want to show you. This is my website, Tarot Lumination, tarotlumination.com, and this is where you can book your personal readings, where we can say and do anything, okay? And it's all done through PayPal. It's very straightforward. We schedule a time and day that works for both of us, depending on your time zone. And then we hold the meeting. I send you the Zoom link, and we just hang out and do it. We bring the astrology and the tarot, and it's very deep dive personal stuff, okay? Whatever you want. Finances, money, marriage, children, pets, health, whatever. Okay? So, yeah, I'm going to scroll all the way down. Looks like you've been very active in the chat there. I can't really catch up. But, okay, let's have a look. Okay. Queen of Water, hi. Oh, hello, Queen of Water. Good evening. Hello, hello, hello. So, yeah. So it seems a few people got my email. I'm going to try and develop my communications again, especially while Mercury is retrograde. I'm learning a lot. Yes. Tina's on a roll. Okie dokie. All right. Well, thank you, Tina. Thank you very much. I'm going to shuffle this up, and we're going to prepare for Necessary Truth. I'm going to play a little song in the meantime. And where are we? I'm going to have Taste Your Dreams. Everybody likes that one. And we're not hardly here anymore, so we haven't heard this for quite a while.
Okay.
This is kind of like what I call white reggae. I'm very much a white guy, but I do enjoy certain reggae type music. Very typically the old school types or the pop versions. Have you ever heard of UB40? It's from the 80s. They do a lot of white reggae. Anyway, just imagine a really, really cool backup band. Kind of like the UB40 band. And that's what this song is based on. This is just me with my guitar, but please use your imagination, okay? And I am going to shuffle up and get the cards ready for Necessary Truths. Here we go. Let's have a look here.
Okay. If you wish for a simple miracle, if you wish you can have one right away, all you need is some faith, is the will. Ask for it and it will come to you today. Hey, hey, I want you to be oh so happy. I want you to be your higher self. Yeah, I want you to live and die laughing. Taste your dreams today. Taste your dreams this way. Yeah. Na da 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 da. Na da 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 da. And if you wish to be in a state of grace, ask for it and it will meet you face to face. And if you wish, if you dare to dream, you will find that it's easier than it seems. Hey, hey, I want you to be oh so happy. I want you to be your higher self. Yeah, I want you to live and die laughing. Taste your dreams today. Taste your dreams this way. Yeah. Oh. Da 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 ba da 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 la da 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 la da 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 da. Oh, la da 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 da.
Alright, so we did it. It's one of my little songs. Hope you like that one. Hello, Echo. I just saw your notes that you are a scroller, okay? Yeah, I've had this, Dear Echo, I've had my channel here for about 5 years. I used to do a lot more content on the channel. Anyway, I just brought out this map just briefly because I wanted to double check with Tina if she's still here. She might have gone already. She had her reading. But there is Helena, Montana right there. Actually, let me do this. There's Helena, Montana right there. And there's the Rockies all the way down the middle and here, okay? So I guess you said you're going to go through this way? There isn't a very, very direct route to Albuquerque. It's either around here or through here by the look of it. I'm just very curious. Just very, very curious. And Hemis. Okay, there's New Mexico. Hemis is just over here, okay? So there we go. Anyway. Oh, Queen of Water, if you come to America, come over here to Las Vegas. Hang out with us. We'll put you on the show. Actually, let's put you on the show anyway. We could do that from Australia. You know what? You know what? Heck. Here's another thing I've been toying with. I forgot to mention this. Some of the channels on social media that I really admire, they have guests. And I've done that before. I've been a guest on several shows here and there. Some of you might know Joanna the Medium. She's a very successful medium. And she operates over up here in British Columbia, the Vancouver area. And we had a show together a couple of times. It was a lot of fun, very exciting. Of course, it has to be scheduled and planned. Now, to do that the way I know how to do it, I would have to set up a private Zoom meeting with the guest, whoever that might be. For example, Queen of Water, or maybe Path Traveler. Path Traveler has so much to offer. Or whoever it might be. And then we record it, and then we put it onto the YouTube Terra Lumination channel. But I've also discovered something. I've never tried it before, but there, I believe, is a way that I could host a meeting on my Zoom with a guest live and real time, and then connect that live and real time, kind of like what we're doing now, straight into YouTube. Now that's really pushing it. Okay, I don't know if it can be done, but I would definitely like to try it one day. And I'd like to have a very brave, bold, courageous guest who's willing to come on camera with me. It would look like a lot of those shows where you have a guest and there's a screen here, is a split screen, host over here, guest over here, that kind of thing. Yeah, host a meeting, collaborate, yeah, absolutely. Anyway, I just thought I'd mention that. Queen of Water. So, yeah. Oh, okay, hold on, I want to see the map again. Give me a second, Tina, I just saw your notes there. You're going west. This one. Okay, so going to the west, going through Colorado is 2 hours longer. Okay, I see what you're saying. Going over here is 2 hours longer. So you're going to go down this western route and cut through here somewhere, I guess. Somewhere like that. Maybe through Durango or somewhere like that. Get into Utah, then cut over on the 70 and then down through Durango. You know? Okay, let's have a look. Hey, Echo, you sound pretty knowledgeable. Everything starts in California. You want to do that, Queen of Water? I dare you. And Elizabeth Boucher, I know, is at the point where she's ready to go on camera. Let's have a look. I tell you, Elizabeth has some stories, believe me. Frankly, Elizabeth should be on prime time. Get her novel out there, get the movie out there. Elizabeth is a writer. All right, we're shuffled up. Okay. Oh, through Salt Lake and then straight down through the Four Corners. Ah, okay, I get it. I know what you're talking about. All right, necessary, here we go. We're just going to dive in. We're just going to do the whatever it is you need to hear. All right? Now, let's have a look. Just want to check in with everybody. And we're still there. Hello, I just want to check in. I didn't see Diana come in till just recently. Hello, Echo. You seem to be having a lot of fun hanging out with everybody. That's cool. You don't mind being on camera at all. Aha! This could be fun. It would have to be a weekend. That's okay. Today's a weekend. I'm sure we can figure it out. The tricky part, of course, is just scheduling the time zone. What I'd like to do, Queen of Water, just for thrills, is we'll schedule a meeting, a time that works for both of us, and we'll record it on my Zoom, and then I will load it onto the Terra Lumination channel. Okay? Deal? Deal? All right? One more shuffle. Message is coming in from Chris. Okie dokie. All right, here we go. All right. Okay. All right, let's see. One more shuffle. You've got it, Necessary Truth. So what messages do we have here tonight for Necessary Truths? Especially with a little bit of, let's say, the extra magic ingredient. Chris. Chris is the goofy fun lover one. He's still very, very capable, very, very, very serious, invisible friend. Anybody would be great, very, very lucky to have him as an invisible friend. You've got to have some humor in life, okay? Let's have a look. Okay, here we go. I'm just going to cut it up in a very routine way. Keep it absolutely fresh and crisp and normal. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle it. And let's have a look at the external influences. I'm going to default to the planets as usual. Let's have a look. So we've got the Seven of Pentacles. Now, this is, sometimes I think of this as Virgo energy because it's so much about cleaning up and doing tasks that don't get a lot of recognition or thanks or reward. And then they have to be done anyway. So Virgos can associate with that a lot. Now, necessary truths, I wouldn't be surprised if you have a Virgo element in your chart somewhere. For example, Pluto. Pluto in Virgo. You might be a Pluto in Virgo generation person, or maybe a Pluto in Libra, I'm not sure. If you want to affirm it, if you do have any Virgo energy in you, necessary, I know I've got your charts somewhere, but I would have to take some time out to go and dig up the charts and pull them out and play with them. Anyway, with the Seven of Pentacles here, referring to the planets, we can talk about the retrogrades. Mercury retrograde and Uranus retrograde. Now the retrogrades, they chop and change all the time, but right now these are active, and it's an exceptionally good time for cleanup campaigns. Retrogrades are very good for like reviews, rewinds, rehash, rebuild, reassess, reevaluate, rekindle, realign, something. And with Pluto in Virgo, it could indicate like going deep to the literally to the depths of the soul, which is often the place where there's the most neglect for people in day-to-day life. Let's look at it this way. Hold on, necessary. For a lot of folks, life is lived from the neck upwards. They live in their brains, their thoughts, their, let's say, spontaneous emotions, feelings, activities, and everything from the neck downward is unconsciously treated as an extension of the neck, of the head. And so a lot of life is conducted where the heart and the body is the servant of the head. You know? You could just call that like default behavior. When I work with people in private for healing, what I emphasize is to try and flip it upside down, where the head is the servant of the heart. And we conduct our lives in such a way where we take all our cues, all our messages, all our fundamental drive in life, we take it from the language of the heart. And so the heart is always speaking, always radiating energy. So the question is, are we listening? Okay? So people, here's an example, a very extreme example. Oftentimes people at the extreme high levels of power, control, and money, they have refined the process of living through the head and the three-dimensional physicalities of life to the point of just complete absence of the heart energy. There's nothing left. They are completely hollow. Now, these are the people that they are typically labeled sociopaths or psychopaths, and like lizard people, and they look just fine. They might have private jets and orgies and fun and tons of money, and they can just press buttons and huge things happen. But it's sometimes at the expense of a lot of other people as collateral damage. And it's kind of loveless. So it's a lot of work to have to flip that around, to turn this to this, to live through the heart and make the head the servant of the heart. People don't want to do it. It's so much easier to get onto a, let's say, automated routine where you're, I have my little cup of coffee in the morning. I like to create rituals and habits, but I like to create good rituals, good habits, healthy rituals, healthy habits that might defy nature. Like, I don't go around chasing certain things for ambition the way that I used to. And I feel much healthier and happier now. It's like I have less and less and less and less, but I'm happier and happier and happier. Because my joy, my personal joy, doesn't come from this. It's here. It comes from the great beyond. Okay? So with the Pluto in Virgo energy, it's a God-given right, birth, and duty at the Pluto level of the soul to do extreme deep diving, to, like, well, you know what, some people would, do their, like, soul cleanup, like a kitchen drawer, pull it out, clean it up, tidy it up, and then it's fine. But they didn't go the bottom layer, the next layers, where the actual drawer itself might be rotten or moldy and dirty. They might have just sparkleized things and put it all back, but it's still not good. So with the Seven of Pentacles for you, necessary truths, what I'm sensing here is that even though you're highly evolved and you're already operating in 5D, 7D, 11D energies, these things never stop. In fact, at the levels at which you operate, it becomes harder and harder to operate, because you have to maintain such high degrees of, let's say, spiritual, emotional hygiene and integrity to stay there. And so that's work. And that's work that typically does not get any reward or thanks. And the only way that you would enjoy any thanks or reward is by doing the work and then seeing the consequences later and understanding what it's like to be even more pure, purified, cleansed than ever before. But it's work, okay? So this is a really, really good opportunity for that, okay? Time to take advantage of this moment. Okay, what's the situation itself? And by the way, also a necessary truth, no one else can do this for you. A lot of people try to outsource this work, these tasks. But in the end, it's up to you, the individual. Outsourcing your life never works unless you're a sort of a businessman and you need a personal assistant, things like that. That's totally different. But at the depths of the soul at which we're operating here, this cannot be outsourced. This is all on you. It's something that has to be taken care of one little snip at a time. So don't worry. Let's have a look at the situation itself. Here we have the Star card again. Again, we have to believe that good things are there, even when there might not be the most obvious forms of evidence. We keep going anyway. The light bearers of the world. You are a light bearer. You are a healer. You work in the light. You're very powerful at who you are and what you do, and you share it very, very generously. Someone's got to do it. Someone has to be the bearer of hope and light. Almost like a beacon, almost like a lighthouse for others. Because a lot of people do not have hope. There are billions of people on earth today who literally have no hope in life. They are living in a state of hopelessness. It's sad, it's tragic, it's empty. They might look as though they're conducting a regular life, but deep inside, it's full of hopelessness, tragedy, loss, and sorrow, to the point where they believe that there is nothing left for them. But when you live by example and prove that there is hope, even in the worst conditions, then you're doing like your ultimate service to humanity. And that, of course, is the Virgo energy. It's a dedicated service. Now, what's the problem here? Well, before I even pull this is very hard to do. It's hard to be the water bearer and the bearer of hope for humanity when you're struggling yourself as an individual. Okay? But it still has to be done. What's the challenges here? Okay. This looks like a card, feels to me like an energy of extreme self-doubt. You might be going through an episode right now where life events, circumstances, life history is all culminating at this point. By the way, calendar moment here. I would mark your calendar for the 19th and pay very, very close attention to what happens to you in your life on that specific day. There are a couple of days leading up to it and a few days afterwards. I mean, it's You know, the Pluto thing is such a slow experience, but the sun moves relatively quickly, and it might be an idea to just mark your calendar, pay very, very close attention to what's happening in your life at that moment in time, whether it's a personal thing, a financial thing, a job thing, an external, random, spontaneous event, or something that triggers a nerve with you and gives you a sense of hope, meaning, and direction. But in the meantime, with the Magician here in this position of challenges, fear, and doubt, it makes me feel like you are seriously doubting your own natural gifts, your own natural powers, your own natural abilities to rise above any challenge, any obstacle, any task, any demands from anything in the microscopic aspects of day-to-day life right down to the very depth of your soul. So the question is, what am I supposed to do with all my power, my energy, my gifts, my talents? Because you have that. But in a way, it's limited. You can only do so much with that when things are neglected over here. In other words, just imagine yourself like you're sort of like a Lamborghini or a Ferrari, and you are highly, highly capable. And that is the vehicle of your life. And you're driving around, you're feeling like, wow, I can only do 100 miles an hour. There's something wrong here. I don't know what the hell is wrong. It's supposed to do 180 miles an hour if I'm out on the Montana highways. How come it just sputters when I reach 100, 120? It just sputters. Okay? It's like having a limiter. So like certain buses and trucks, commercial vehicles have limiters to stop them over performing. It's a safety thing. But in your case, we need to remove the limiters so you can perform at your optimal, most powerful, amazing self. And the only way you can optimize yourself is not by trying to push your pedal on your foot onto the gas pedal of life harder and harder, or try to shift gears or blame it on the vehicle of life or external circumstances. The only way to remove the limitations in the governor is to do the internal cleanups. Remove the limitations, remove the blockages. And then you flow freely. It's easy for me to say it here on a tarot reading. Oh. Necessary, I often get connections with your invisible friends. I just had one from Chris. And it kind of goes like this. Let me share this with you. This is so funny. I felt it like Chris is right here. He's literally right here. It's like, oh my God, this is so cool. I right now I wish we could swap out, and you could be me, I could be you. You could be the invisible friend for Necessary Truths, and I could do these tarot readings because this is so cool. And you know what? And it's almost like he was like sort of tapping me like, TL, if this message is supposed to be coming through me, and I'm the actual what do you call it? The medium. I am the instrument. TL, I thank you so much because you're making me look so cool. You're making me look so cool. Like I'm Chris, the amazing invisible friend. Yeah, that's what I felt. I just wanted to share that with you, okay? Necessary Truths. So how are we going to do this going forward? Let's have a look. Okay. Ha-ha! You take a deep breath and you treat this as a fun, exciting exercise. Instead of being scared of this and like, oh my God, more deep down soul diving cleanup campaigns. Ugh! Who wants to do that? Nobody wants to do that. Well, in this situation, with this reading, with the rest of the story that happened here, the way forward is to basically say, you know what? We're going to turn this into fun. We're going to turn this into a sport. We're going to turn this into an adventure and make it almost like a game. Now, I don't exactly know how to do that, but somehow or other you have to turn this, let's say, tedious deep dive soul cleanup campaign into some kind of game where you could, each time you pick off a new coin, pentacle of value, each time you unearth it and clean it up, you give yourself a reward. You give yourself a reward. Let's say, for example, you define and write out on paper 7 really, really important, very valuable things that you feel have been neglected or are missing or that need cleanups in your life. Queen of Water says, I heard weeding. Correct. Turn it into a game such that you make it your business every day, every week, every month or something. You make it your business to tackle one of these pentacles and you do the weeding. Okay? I'm going to get rid of all of that. I'm going to get rid of all of that. And you will know when you've done it because your life will feel lighter and you will feel more joy. And then when you feel that, you give yourself a little reward. You look in the mirror and go, you know what? I'm actually quite cool. I'm pretty good at that. I just did that. I did that. I did that. Okay? It's almost like you have to do your own coaching. I did that. I did my own deep dive soul cleanup campaign. See? And then you do that and you give yourself a reward. Now, what is that reward? I don't know. Do you go out for ice cream? Late at night? Do you get a special new pair of shoes that you've wanted for a long time? Do you binge watch a series that you've always wanted to binge watch but felt guilty? I don't know. Something like that. Give yourself a reward, okay? All right, let me go back. And then the whole thing becomes a sport. It becomes a game. It becomes fulfilling, exciting, and satisfying. And it boosts your confidence. It gets you back into your state of power. And you can say to yourself and look in the mirror with extreme pride and confidence, I did that. I did that. Yes, I am that amazing. Thank you very much. Okay, so that's your reading. Chris, it's been a pleasure working with you, of course. Awesome. Okay, folks, so that's it. I'm going to wrap it up here. I think I'm going to leave it here on the chat for a little bit. I'm not going to do any more readings. You've been very, very kind, very, very generous with your time just to hang out with me like this. Gives me a little boost of confidence. So we're going to go from there. Let me, I'm going to shuffle up here. And then I'm going to come up and hang out with you guys in the chat for a moment. And I want to put an exciting, adventurous song. It's called The Wonder Ride. It's actually a birthday present for a loved one. But it's about the adventure of life and love and happiness, okay? Diana, you too, okay? So here's Wonder Ride. It's a slow waltz, so if you can imagine yourself dancing in a slow waltz in a very old-fashioned setting with someone that gives you the hots, and vice versa. You give them the hots, and you just enjoy each other's company for a 3-minute waltz, okay?
Okay, we are rolling. So, this is a birthday present for my sweetheart.
Okie
Just wanted to
dokie.
share this. Okay.
Let's get on with the song.
It's called Wonder Ride.
It's called Wonder Ride. Here we go. There's a glitch or something. Here we go.
My dear, this is my birthday present to you, to celebrate the day that heaven made you. It's remarkable that we both found one another. And the day we set out on our transformational ride with each other at each other's side, it soon became evident that we are both changing. And it's such a wonder ride, my dear. Yes, it's such a wonder ride. Hold on tight, tightly, my dear. And now that our journey, it starts to unfold in a multi-dimensional world of untold delights that truly defy the imagination. You've naturally taken it up on yourself to document all of the nuances that go to make up a story of extraordinary proportions. And it's such a wonder ride, my dear. Yes, it's such a wonder ride. Hold on tight, tightly, my dear. Yeah, it's such a wonder ride, my dear. Yes, it's such a wonder ride. Hold on tight, tightly, my dear.
So there we go.
So there you go.
Very old-fashioned waltz. Oh, here's a little story that might spark a conversation with all of you. I know some of you got to go. It's very late, and Tina has a lot of driving to do. We're going to wrap it up in just a minute, but just wanted to share a little story. I was invited to watch a movie last night. I think it was last night. Was it last night or the night before? Anyway, it's called Somewhere in Time. It came out of the blue. My friend was inspired to share and show. Thank you, Love Triber. And I was a little bit suspicious at first. Like, what is this? It was made in 1980. It stars Christopher Reeves and Jane Seymour. Both like poster, classic, the handsome fellow and the beautiful girl. And I just watched it because I was tired and I took some aspirin. I was ready to go to bed soon. And then I became very, very captivated. Because what I realized is that this movie is about time travel. Not only is it about time travel, it's about past lives and future lives. And I thought, oh my God. I was just thinking about this yesterday because I have certain very, very vivid, specific past lives that are very prominent compared to others. I'm aware that I've had many, many past lives of various sorts. But this particular movie triggered strong, let's say, vivid memories of a particular past life with a particular female around the time set of the movie going back into the past life, which would have been the very end, tippy end of the Victorian era, the late 1890s, and into the early 1900s, right up to 1912. And I could tell instantly because of the wardrobes and the manners and the behaviors of these people. Now, my particular past life at that time was actually in France, in Europe. But the feeling was the same. I had a very, very, very kind of classy, loving relationship with someone. And we both really, really appreciated each other at the depths of our souls. And we already knew that even in that time we had already had past lives together. And then here I am in this lifetime here today, 2023, recognizing that particular lifetime back around 1908, 1910, for me personally, in France, in fact in Paris. So I just reveled in the movie. It was just a wonderful experience to see these characters going back through time, into the future, back into the past, in a way that felt very genuine to me. It wasn't all spiced up and made like some space age Hollywood thing. It was very, very soulful, warm, fuzzy, romantic thing. And I loved it. And so, yeah, it made me feel like, oh yeah, past lives, future lives. It's like they're all the same thing. The past is the future is the past. Diana knows the movie. Oh, it is. I wasn't really familiar with it, but it's a freaking awesome movie. Yeah. So there you go. I think I need to, give me a second here. All right, it's time to check out, people. So I want to bless you on your way. Queen of Water, we're going to connect, and then we're going to have an adventure. We're going to create a little host-guest type of show, and then we're going to share it with the audience, okay? All right, so I'm going to check out here. I'm going to put on a last little tune, and then we can all hide away. And I'm going to keep it really short and sweet. Actually, you know what? I'm just going to check out and say goodnight. It's been a serious pleasure hanging out with you all. Take care of yourselves. Be a good prepper. Start stashing away food, stashing away money. Be prepared to find ways to defend yourself and protect yourselves, because we're heading into some pretty, let's say, challenging situations in 2023, 2024. And when it gets to 2025 up to 2033, oh my gosh. So start prepping now if you haven't started prepping, okay? It's time now. Take care, everybody. Remember, you're number one. Love thyself. Also remember, you have to reveal it to heal it. That's why we're here. We need to bring things up so they can be identified. You can't heal it unless you know what it is that needs the healing, okay? Take care, everybody. Good night. Good night, Elizabeth. Good night, Diana.